So convert the following to hours. So 5 hours and 15 minutes would be 5.25 because it's a quarter of an hour, right? So that's, you get 1 mark for that. And the 3:45 is 3.75 because 45 is 3/4 of an hour, okay? So you get 1 mark for each, so 2 marks for question 1. Okay, so that's that. And then true or false. And if false, write down the correct answer. So 715 is equal to 7.15, that is false. So you only get the full mark if you write down the correct answer. It's 7.25. B, 845 is equal to 8.75. That is correct. That's true. You only get half a mark there because it's a 50-50, right? If you get it right or wrong. 930 is equal to 9.30. That is false. It's 9.5. You get 1 mark if you have the correct answer written down next to it. So far we have 2 marks for question 1. And we have 2.5 marks for question 2. So B is only worth half. Okay, these are both worth 1 because you have to give the right answer. So next, we have somebody that worked 44 hours, gets paid double time and a half, right, for hours beyond 38. The wage is $19.75. What's the gross income? You have your study sheet, right? So you should be able to have 1 example on there at the very least. So this question is worth 2.5 marks. So the first half mark, right? The half mark you're going to get is if you take the 38 and multiply it by 1975, right? Because obviously went past the 38. So 38 times 1975, if you get that number there, you get half a mark. You're going to get a full mark for figuring out how much overtime he gets paid because there's a bunch of steps involved. You have to find out how many overtime hours. You went 6 hours past the 38 mark, right? And you also have to multiply the wage by 2.5 because it says double time and a half. So it's 49.38 is the overtime rate, okay, overtime wage. You get 1 mark for coming up with that. Okay, so far it's 1.5. And and the final answer is worth another 1 mark. I don't know why I had half there. So half, 1, and then another mark for getting the final correct. If you add 2 numbers together, you get 1 mark. That's how it goes. Even though you got them wrong, if you add, you say you mark it wrong, you still give yourself 1 out of 2.5. Okay, put a mark down, 1 out of 2.5. And here, question 4. It says that Valerie works at a catering company, earns $12.70 an hour. She works more than 35 in a week. She gets paid time and a half. There's that word again, time and a half. So calculate the number of hours Valerie worked. So there it is. And I converted them all to, right, general time or military time so that it's easier to do the subtracting, right? So you went 17 minus 9, that's 8. 16.5, right? I don't know if you need to do that, right? Convert the time into a decimal. Right, 50 minutes is 0.25, 45 converts to 75, 30 is just 0.5. So if you subtract them, you get the following answer. So you get half a mark for each correct answer here. So give yourselves whatever mark, it's 2.5 in total. You get half. So if you get a mistake, take off half, right? And so you're supposed to get 40, and obviously if you made a mistake, you're not going to get 40. You don't take off marks again. It's just here, each row, you take off half a mark if you got it wrong. And now you're going to have to play detective. That's what I would have to do if I look at your work. Whatever you got here needs to follow through. So let's say you got 39 or 39.75, then you still work 35 hours regular. You work, right? You subtract the 35 from what you got here to get this. So this answer is still worth 1. This is still worth half to find the regular. And then the total is worth 1 where you add them all up. So 1, 1.5. So it's 2.5 there. So this will all be different if you made a mistake up here. This should still be correct. You should still get the half mark. If you use whatever is here throughout this, you would technically still get full marks if you did the steps, if you followed the steps correctly. That's how weird it is, right? But you're still consistent. Number 5, this formula, right? That the wage or the hours is equal to gross divided by wage should be on your study sheet, okay? So you solve it this way. It's 57.06 hours. That's just 1 or nothing, okay, for number 5. And then number 6, you should also have that on your study sheet. And I gave you, if you go through your booklets, there are pages with a lot of formulas and a lot of steps there. So you basically take the annual income divided by 52 to get the weekly. So that's also 1 or nothing. Okay, so total is out of 14. Now, if it's 13 or 12.5 and you're not sure, put down the one you think you earned. Whatever it is, put it down. And then we will submit this. Even if you're here, if you can submit it online, I will make it available. So it's now available to upload. It is out of 14. Yeah, I will do that. So if you're not sure, maybe what I'll do is zoom out a little bit so you can see more of it. Can you see that? Question 3 is out of 2.5. You get half a mark for finding the regular. You get a full mark for finding the overtime portion, and then you get a full mark for getting the final answer. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. So try to get the tally, right? Tally it up and then submit it online. Even if you're here, if you can take a picture and load it up to Google Classroom and then just leave that quiz on your table before you leave, then I know which ones to sanitize, okay? And I don't have to come around and come into your bubble.